Orchestra of New York season opens with Ravel's Bolero in its arrangement for chamber orchestra by Ensemble's music director and composer Salvatore Di Vittorio, and Tchaikovsky's variations on a Rococo theme follows, featuring principal cellist Adrian Daurov. And the evening concludes with Beethoven's Symphony Number 7. So this just sounds like an amazing night with me, music director Salvatore Di Vittorio and cellist Adrian Daurov. So I can't wait to hear about this. And Salvatore, let's just start with you. Why you create these programs? I mean, what was it that inspired you to put this concert together?
Well, we actually started with a slightly different program. And then when the big news for us is we have our first international tour, as you know, to Hamburg, Germany, at the end of this season in June 2026, which is to the Performing Arts Center Elbphilharmonie in Hamburg. And when we were discussing the program, and I remember having conversations early with Adrian, also Santa Maria, also Daniel Kalikov, our concertmaster, about the musical program. And we all thought it would be logical, since this is our first international tour, to have the bigger Zankel concert that is usually the season opener to be the same musical program as would be on the tour in June 2026. We had settled pretty much on the Tchaikovsky Rococo variations. They loved the idea that there's this evolving story with this new Ravel edition of the Bolero, of course. And the Beethoven was actually a fresh addition to the program. It wasn't what it's one of his best works and one that we should perform more often. But we thought the tour would probably end with one of the works that we're more familiar with, probably a large work of Respighi, because of everyone recognizes us abroad as the Respighi Orchestra. They sometimes say that, the Respighi Chamber Orchestra because of the Naxos recordings. But they felt, the concert hall in Germany felt especially that it would be wise to have a major staple of the repertoire. It scared me and I think Adrian to know that they loved the idea of Beethoven, because we're a New York orchestra and we're playing Beethoven in Germany on our first tour. A little scary, a little intimidating, But I think the philosophy there is that they love different orchestras having their own personalized take on their music, on what they hold very dear. So that's how that came about. The Ravel is its own story. I for years had this idea of knowing that the Bolero would go public domain in coming years. I had heard about this. There's a large, never-ending lawsuit with the remaining heirs, who are quite distant actually from the original family. Nonetheless, they're the heirs involved. And Durand is the publisher in Paris, Ravel's main publisher, Durand, and they're under Universal Music. And I was waiting for this to go public domain. When it did, I presented the idea to my publishers, which is Pana Studio in Palermo, and then the big Italian publisher Casa Ricordi in Milan. And the way this happened, most people don't know, is both Durand and Casa Ricordi are under now Universal Music. So when I chatted with my contacts at Casa Ricordi in Milan, Italy, they said, aspetta, let's first make sure they love the idea. They know what I do, and they know my history, and all my works I have like over 40 orchestral works with them now. So they know what I do, and with Respighi, and they have all of the Respighi editions. So they were very confident, but nonetheless, they wanted to be sure that Durand, Ravel's main publisher, would love the idea. So I had a number of Zoom meetings with the executive director and the main rental director of Durand in Paris, and they love the idea. As a matter of fact, this may lead to other Ravel large works, which I may have to would be reducing. But they love the idea, and the piece, by the way, went public domain in January of this year,
Wow.
2025. And that's
Interesting.
how they signed up immediately. And there was some discussion about how who would actually be the main publisher. And it turns out it's staying with my Italian publishers.
Okay.
And but we gave, as Adrian has seen probably on the parts, we gave it's in collaboration with Durand in Paris. And I'll be doing other things with them. But so we're very excited because I have I think a promo video about this, but it was very, very extremely difficult because though this is, one of the things I do long term, caring about orchestration, it was very difficult because, the idea is reducing a Philharmonic symphony sized work, which usually has 85 to 100 plus musicians, to an orchestra, a standard chamber orchestra, which is now 40 to 50 musicians. So the winds, I believe, in the original are about 26 winds, and also 3 saxophones are amongst them. And I went from 26 wins to 13 wins, which was really, really difficult. And then figuring out which of the missing, cast had to be reassigned to someone else, and there's also, you have to be careful with breathing because, they're not string players. Wind players have to breathe, so they have to rest. So it was very complicated. But anyway, I'm really looking forward to it.
And those are all things like, as a audience member, you wouldn't know about, some of those internal issues. By the way, I listened to Bolero last night because I think, I've heard it before. And I mean, it's got that hypnotic kind of, and I did a little research, and somebody wrote on Reddit, if aliens came to Earth and asked for one musical work to understand humanity's brilliance, passion, and capacity for creative insanity, we would give them Bolero, and they would weep and then they would dance. So I just thought, it just shows how special this is.
Not necessarily in that order. They may dance before they weep.
Adrian, talk about your thoughts on Tchaikovsky, what it required for you to bring this to life.
Well, where do I start? It's been a long journey with that piece, frankly. I first played it back when I was maybe 15 or so, and I was living and studying in St. Petersburg. And I remember I had a few challenges with that piece because there's so much happening within a very short span of time. The piece is roughly 16 minutes long, and there's a theme and 7 variations. So roughly every 2 minutes, there's something new introduced and new stuff happening. So I think I just needed to evaluate my alertness, my control and focus as well back then. And I even remember every morning I would pass by the giant statue of Tchaikovsky by the conservatory, and I would look at him and say, I'm playing your Rococo variations, and and blame him for all the challenges that I was facing back then. But I mean, many years later, and I've played a piece a few times, so I'm hopefully at the stage that I can just enjoy and have fun, and I'm hoping that the audience will as well.
It's such a graceful piece. So
it is beautiful.
Yeah.
And actually, what's fascinating about the piece, it's kind of like Tchaikovsky's love letter to Mozart.
Oh.
He really adored Mozart, and the Rococo style, which obviously refers to the style of architecture, fashion, and music prior to classicism. And Mozart was also influenced by it. So Tchaikovsky kind of tried to walk in Mozart's shoes and try to imagine or fantasize how Mozart would write a piece for cello and orchestra. And Mozart never did, by the way. So we kind of get a 2-in-1. The Mozart theme, which actually sounds like the first theme that the cello starts right after the orchestral introduction. It could have been taken right out of the Mozart aria. It just sounds so operatic. And then we get, we're followed with the 7 variations, which is, kind of renditions of that aria from the Rococo style through the prism of Tchaikovsky's talent and genius.
Exciting.
Yeah.
So, Sal, we've only got a couple minutes left. Tell us the concert, just the when and where, and the auction that will be a part of that night as well.
Right. So the concert is Friday, December 5th at Carnegie Hall's Zankel Hall. It's at 7:30 p.m. And the order of the program is Ravel, Tchaikovsky, and intermission, and then Beethoven, of course, longer work. And that same night, we have, I guess, the culmination, the closing of the silent auction, which went live today, Monday, the 24th, right?
Yes, yes.
I know we'll be showing this a few days later. It's great. We have a number of items up for bid, and they're very different. Everything from lunch with the maestro to I think you're doing an interview, Jane, and there are a handful of different things. We also, which is wonderful, we have the company Fiasconaro, which is an elite, perhaps the most elite panettone company in Italy, which hails from Sicily, actually from Palermo, from the province of Palermo, my home city. And they will be there at the end with the silent auction team, and they'll be giving away a small panettone to our audience members that attend the ending of our auction in the lobby, Zankel Hall lobby. And I believe one of the items actually is now their Dolce Gabbana tin with the panettone.
Yeah, those are really pretty. Yes,
they're very famous. And the connection we made is, they're partnered. They've partnered with Dolce Gabbana for years, and we were commissioned by Dolce Gabbana years ago. We had a production at Lincoln Center. I think it was 2018. We had a production at Lincoln Center for Performing Arts, right outside with a major fashion show under Dolce Gabbana. So it's a great opportunity for us to connect with them.
Well, if anyone wants to take a look at the auction items, biddingforgood.com, and you can just search under Chamber Orchestra of New York, and you can see all the items there. And I'm just looking forward to the concert. I think it sounds lovely and a great way to spend the holiday. So thank you so much, Salvatore and Adrian.
Thank you.
See you all there.
See you soon.